What's going on, everybody? Today I wanted to talk about buff duration and how it interacts with players. I have Maze here, so shout out to Maze, as well as Sentinel Sloan, who brought this to my attention about how buffs interact with buff extension based on the players that actually have the different buffs. So you can see here, Vithu's is going to extend our buffs by 30%. And honestly, I did not think about whether or not this will actually affect your party members in terms of extension of the buffs. It only applies, I thought, to basically when you apply a buff, for example, banner, or well, actually it doesn't work with banner, but if you apply like conjuration of light or ice armor, which we have here, this basically goes ahead and extends the buff for your party members as well. However, when I'm looking at this, it does look like that happens, but also it can stack. And this is something that I didn't really necessarily think about because a lot of the things in the game already cannot stack, like the Vithu's Urge's attack speed buff does not stack. It literally just extends the duration. So when we're looking at Vithu's here and we are going to apply it, what I'll go ahead and do here is just check out Maze's buff duration compared to my own. So right here, Maze does have a Vithu's Urges set in these two pieces. Where are they? There we go. Shameless Urge and Awakener's Urge. They have the two-piece set. I also have a two-piece set. Ice armor here does apply to everyone, which I have the little modification for it, and should last for 8 seconds. If this works with just one version of Vithu's, it's 30% buff duration, which should be about 10.4 seconds. If it doubly stacks, it should reach that about 13-second mark. So what I'm going to do is just time my own skill here, and then just really quickly start the timer. It's not going to be perfect, but I just want to showcase it here live. So we're going to start it, and we're going to hope that we're only about 0.3 seconds off. Here we go. So timer's going, and in the top left corner, you can see the ice armor, and we're going to stop it right when my cooldown expires here. So go ahead and stop it right there. It was a little early. It was about that 11-second mark. Honestly, I'm going to redo that one because it was a little off. So let's go ahead and redo that one. Let's see here. Ice armor again. Start the timer. That was much more accurate. And we're going to look in the top left corner once again and see when it actually expires. Here we go. I'm just waiting for the timer. And there, it expires right there. So 11.3 seconds. It looks like it's a little bit even longer than the 10.4 second duration is what I expected. And then we're going to go ahead and time Maze's here. So we're going to reset the timer and then watch Maze's actual buff duration. So let's go. So there's the buff duration for Maze. And we're just going to watch until that white shield dissipates on the character. Here we go. Boom, that's when it ended. So 13.2 seconds. So yes, the timer isn't perfect, but it's clear based on what we could see in game that it does last a little bit longer. I'll just go ahead and redo this test once again for both of us because I think this is really, really interesting. So we're going to drop the ice armor once again and start the timer. Here we go. This is for me. We're going to time myself once again, compare it to Maze's here. And let's go, let's see, and there we go. It ends 11.2 seconds, and then we're gonna start the timer back over once again, and then pull up ice armor for Maze here. There we go. And we're gonna stop it as soon as Maze goes ahead and ends the shield on top of their head. Right there. So 13.2 seconds. So once again, this is about 2 seconds longer for Maze, according to my timer right here. Now, that's what it looks like in game. If I were to go ahead and remove my Vithu set here, which we're going to go ahead and do, just go ahead and remove the Vithu's Urges set. So now we're going to lose that 30% beneficial effect duration. Therefore, my ice armor should last for about 8 seconds, and their ice armor should last for about that 10.4 seconds mark. So we're going to go ahead and retime this here, and we're going to cast ice armor on ourselves and time it. So there we go, and we're going to just end the timer as soon as ice armor ends for me. It should be around that 8-second mark. There we go, it's over, so 8.4 seconds is what we got. And then we're gonna go ahead and redo the ice armor for Maze over here and just check out what duration their buff is going to be. So let's see. So we're gonna start it, and there's ice armor for Maze. Here we go, and we're gonna stop it once that white shield around Maze disappears. Right there, so 10.3 seconds. Now, the question is this because ice armor is applying and it takes a second? So if we just go ahead and just look in game, it is pretty much instantaneously applied to Maze. So I don't think it's the ice armor. And the difference between 8.4 and 10.3 is about that 2-second mark, which is about how much Vithu should extend your buffs. And so based on this, what I can say is that Vithu's beneficial effect duration stacks. This is a very interesting concept, and also very, very interesting for people who are running Vithus themselves. So like, let's say you are running, someone who is running Vithus for buff extension for all of their party members. Let's say you're running a Crusader and you want to put your Conjuration of Light on all your party members. Well, it will extend their buffs. And also their Vithus will extend your buff as well, it looks like. So this is very, very impactful for optimizing team compositions. And I'll go over a little bit of some of the abilities I think this really, really does affect. All right, so if this is true, what does this really mean for group compositions? Because this only really matters in group compositions because we're talking about stacking set items and you're gonna need multiple people with multiple sets. Now, if this is true, and I'm really heavily encouraging everyone out there to go ahead and double check my work here, because this is only, my first couple of tests. I only happened upon this information, but based on what I saw early on is when we have a singular Vithu set, as in my own Vithu set, I will extend the buffs for Maze. And then when Maze also has a Vithu set, they extend the buffs again. So if I don't have a Vithu set, they still get the buff extension because it's a beneficial effect applied to them. Therefore, their Vithus works with them, but I don't. And the same could be applied to any other person. If you're in a group and you apply your, let's say, Conjuration of Light as a Crusader on everyone, if they all also have Vithus, their buffs will be extended even more so than your own. So this is really, really impactful because I think Vithu's 4-piece set is actually an incredibly good set for a lot of different classes. If you've not seen my previous video, I went over the 4-piece set for specifically the Wizard and talked about how it speeds up skills, which I think is even more impactful than the actual basic attack increase, because a lot of people focus on, oh, it increases your attack speed, which means it's really good for Demon Hunters. And I actually think that Demon Hunters, yes, it's good for Demon Hunters, but it's even more impactful for other classes because of the skill increase, skill speed increase, like the channeling for Wizard. And so when we're talking about using 4-piece set, like on the Wizard, and we're trying to speed up our channeling, or we're trying to speed up, let's say, our animations for, I don't know, Barbarian or something like the Monk or something, whatever it is, we're also going to get the beneficial effect increase from everyone in our party. So now this is even multiplying on top of that. Let's say you're running in PvP and you happen to be in a group with a Satyr, I don't know, with a Monk, and you're running Shield of Zen, and then they apply Shield of Zen. Well, now that's also 30% increased on top of, they're already 30% increased on top of you. So this starts to really, really ramp up in specific scenarios. Now you're talking about like a Demon Hunter, they're not really going to get any bonuses in terms of extending their buffs to other party members, because it doesn't really matter to them in terms of they don't have any group buffs. However, if they're getting applied buffs to them, now it's also extended for them. And this also applies to the Wizard, because yes, I could do ice armor for everyone, but honestly, I don't ever run this because it takes up a crucial slot, which is usually Black Hole that moves. But this is also important for me when I'm talking about other people extending buffs to me. So now I extend their buffs applied to myself, and this is super, super impactful. So again, I want everyone out there, if you have tested this before, or if you have checked this out, this is what my findings are, is that Vithus extends your own buffs as well as any buffs applied from party members onto you. So double check out there. If you found something different, let me know in the comments down below, or feel free to message me on Discord. I'm always open. Very, very interesting findings and very, very impactful for the Vithus. And Vithus is just getting better and better and better over time as we're running through all these different tests. Very exciting, very cool. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next video.